So this is figure 5.18, a multi-panel figure giving examples of trends in diversity of different types of fauna or algae in estuarine and brackish water systems. So in panel A we have the original Remain diagram. So this is a diagram named after a scientist whose surname was Remain. And that basically shows the transition with changing salinity from freshwater species to marine species, and also indicates where truly marine estuarine species occur. In panel B, slight modification here. This basically shows the transition from freshwater species to marine species, and we can see that in both freshwater and marine species there is an almost exponential decrease in the number of species in this sort of mid-estuary where the salinity is between 5 and 10. If we look at mean alpha diversity in terms of number of species in panel C, we see how salinity range affects species diversity. So where we have the largest range in salinity, so a deviation of 8 in the salinity range, then we find the lowest number of species. So clearly in an estuarine system, this is where the environment is most stressful. This is where salinity is changing or fluctuating most on a daily basis. In panel D, it shows the transition in terms of the number of algal species. So as the environment becomes more and more marine, so we see an increase in the number of algal species. And similarly, we see a very similar trend in terms of zooplankton diversity as well. As we move towards a much more marine environment, then we see a great increase in the species diversity of zooplankton. The fish fauna show a change from freshwater to marine. So for example, I mean, if you go to the Baltic Sea, for example, and if you're up around Estonia and Finland, you'll encounter freshwater species like pike and perch and roach in the environment. Whereas when you move towards the fully marine end of the Baltic Sea, for example, in the Skagerrak, you're going to encounter marine species such as cod. Similarly, in estuarine systems, we see a transition from these freshwater species at very low salinities to fully marine species at the higher salinity range.